welcome back to my channel. Ooh, that's... I'm Tessa. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about yoga. No, not that kind of yoga. Not that kind of yoga either. Today we're going to talk about yoga off the mat. For those of you who know me personally, you know that I'm really into yoga. I could get into the details of my specific journey with yoga, but that's not what I intend this video to be about. If that's something that you're interested in, definitely let me know down in the comment section. The poses, yeah, that's part of it. Getting on your mat, that's part of it too. Breathing, meditation, all parts of yoga. But there's 8 limbs, if you didn't know. And today we're going to be talking about 2 of the limbs, Yamas and Niyamas. Yamas are behavioral guidelines for how to interact with other people, how to interact with the world, other living beings, your external environment. Niyamas are daily personal practices that align your inner world. So let's kick it off with the Yamas, starting with ahimsa. Side note, I have not taken yoga training. I think I would have been graduating right about now had this whole COVID thing not hit. But anyway, so please forgive me if my Sanskrit is not correct or if I'm pronouncing something incorrectly. This is what I have learned from my teachers and from my own research. So that's my little disclaimer. Okay, ahimsa, non-violence. To practice this is to practice loving openness, meeting others with an open heart, and viewing them with a non-judgmental lens. Doing things like practicing catching negative thought patterns and kindly asking them to stop is practicing nonviolence within your mind. Look inside yourself, analyze your behavior, your energy patterns, what's keeping you from peace, what internally is rumbling, and how can you make space for peace inside of you? Moving on to the next yama, satya, truthfulness. There's a bird. This practice is using your words to elevate instead of to perpetuate. Don't lie to yourself, don't lie to other people. This means making promises or deals with yourself that you know you're not going to follow through with. Likewise, making plans or promises or commitments to other people that you're not going to follow through with. Don't lie. Be truthful. The practice also lies in digesting the world with a real lens. What's opinion, what's reality, and learn how to distinguish that. Moving on to the next yama, asteya, non-stealing. Of course, stealing in the physical sense, but this is about a lot more than that. Practice not stealing time, energy, motivation, happiness. These are all things that you can take from people. It's about analyzing your interactions and asking yourself honestly, is this reciprocating? Am I giving as much as I'm taking? And another tricky part about practicing this niyama is not letting desire or urges, impulses. Don't let desire or impulse fool you into taking more than you need. Moving on, brahmacharya. Brahmacharya. Brahmachari. Non-excess. Not using more than what you need. Also, not spending more energy than you need. In order to practice this yama, you've got to identify where in your life Is your energy leaking? It's about impulse control. Don't let your senses tell you that you need more than what you actually need. What's want and what's need. What's good for you and what just feels good. To practice this, start creating boundaries with social media or with sugar or whatever your indulgences are. I know those are two that I definitely come head to head with frequently. Moving on. The next yama, aparigraha, non-grasping. This is about freedom from always wanting more, becoming content with what you have and what you possess. To practice this, focus on not accumulating goods and really trying to detach yourself from materialistic belongings and the materialistic world. When you do that, focus on the feeling of what happens inside your body. And when there's less around you to focus on, it helps you focus inward a little bit more. And to practice this is to practice sitting with what's inside of you as well and being content with that. Are you feeling pain? Are you feeling pleasure? Are you feeling anxiety or fear? Whatever it is, sit with it. Feel your fucking feelings, as J.P. Spears says. That wraps up the 5 yamas. By practicing these and keeping them in mind when you're interacting with your friends, your parents, your coworkers, your whatever, just become a little bit more mindful of your reactions with people, with society, with environments. And by doing these things, yeah, you're doing yoga. You are practicing yoga off the mat. So let's move on to the niyamas. Let's talk about, instead of focusing on how we interact with the world and our environments and our people, how do we interact with ourselves? The first one is saucha, or purity. This speaks to purity of the environment, yes, of course, but also the body, the mind. Think about, how are you keeping your environment? Is it clean? Is it organized? Is it tidy? Believe it or not, it makes a really, really big difference. I've started doing this probably about a month ago, being really, really adamant about cleaning things up as soon as I'm done with them and keeping my environment tidy, and holy shit, man, it makes a difference. Also, though, cleanliness in what you're eating. Are you feeding yourself clean, whole foods? Or are you eating processed junk? Because you're not going to thrive off of that. In your mind, what are you consuming in media, in TV? Are you reading books? Are you educating yourself? Are you consuming things that are like potato chips? Or are you consuming things that are going to be a little bit more beneficial to you? When you're talking to yourself, are you being rude and demeaning and tearing yourself down? Or are you being positive and uplifting and trying to be a friend to yourself? It makes a difference. Saucha, purity, pure mind, pure environment. Moving on. The next is Santosha, surrender. This is about accepting what is, not spending energy or time on things that you can't control, accepting the present, the here, the now, surrendering to circumstances, to anything that you would be spending energy on or that's giving you anxiety that you can't control. It's just not worth it. More than accepting the things you can't control, becoming genuinely content and at peace with the fact that you can't control it. That's Santosha, surrender. Okay, next niyama, tapas. Not the delicious Mexican, fuck, I can't talk. Tapas. No, not the Mexican appetizers, self-discipline. This is your internal fire, your drive, your motivation, your get up and go, your ability to keep going and keep choosing to do something, even if you're not feeling completely lit up right in the moment. It's that ability to flip on your switch and say, okay, I'm gonna do this. How willing are you to get your hands covered in mud? How willing are you to put in the hours to do the work? It's about choosing healthy habits to replace the bad ones. learning the art of discipline and constantly choosing to stoke that fire, to learn, to get up, to do the things. Next niyama. Svadhyaya, self-study. Svadhyaya, I love that. Be the observer. And by the observer, I mean a completely non-judgmental third-party outsider looking onto your life. Analyze your thought patterns, your behaviors, your body language, your relationships, your interactions. Can't remember if I said that one already. And be honest about it. How does it look in a completely unbiased lens? This is a frame of mind that we often don't put ourselves into, and it's really important for personal growth. Everybody has a frequency of happiness that pulses through them. The more you observe and study and practice being in your own body, the easier time you're going to have tuning in to this happiness frequency. Okay, next niyama. Ooh, the last one. And to be honest, this is the one that I know the least about and have the least personal practice with, and also pronounce the worst. Ishtar Pranadhana, surrender to the highest. To practice this is to practice offering yourself to a higher power, to a source larger than yourself. I do believe that there is a higher source, a universal power, a something out there. And I know that in some way I'm being led by that. I haven't felt that connection during practice or during many moments. So this is definitely a niyama that I'm going to be diving deeper into as I continue to do my practice off the mat. That's the last niyama. By practicing those things, you can really, really work on that relationship with yourself, which in turn helps your personal growth and helps your relationships and just improves your life in general. There's really nothing bad that can come from implementing these things in your life. Being a yogi or practicing yoga has very little to do with how flexible or how strong you are. But if you're out there and you're practicing the yamas and the niyamas into your daily life, on and off the mat, you're a yogi. Whether you knew about these before, if it was a refresher, if it was new information, I hope it was helpful and I hope that you enjoyed it. If you're interested in content that has to do with yoga, astrology, mindset, psychology, spirituality, these are all of the things that I plan to touch on this channel. So click and subscribe. Give this video a like. Share it with somebody who you think might benefit from it. All right, looking forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Bye.